Good morning, everyone. Today I'm making dinner early because this is a process that does take a little while. So I am making what are called Donairs. They were invented in Halifax, Nova Scotia quite a few years ago, but they are very similar to the gyro, like the Greek gyro or a shawarma. So what you're going to want to do is take some ground beef. So I have just over 1 kilogram of ground beef here. Then I've gone ahead and I've already mixed my spices, my herbs and spices all together. I have 1 tablespoon of salt, 1 tablespoon of flour, 1 tablespoon of granulated garlic, 1 tablespoon of granulated onion, 1 tablespoon of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon of dried thyme, 1 teaspoon of dried rosemary, 1 teaspoon of red chili flakes, 1 teaspoon of black pepper. So I've just gone ahead and just kind of sort of mixed them all together and throw them in here with your ground beef. Pop it onto your stand mixer. You can use, excuse me, sorry. You can use a hand mixer as well if you prefer, but this is going to take a little bit of time, so I am using a stand mixer. Put your beater blade onto that, and then you're going to want to turn it on and just get your herbs and spices incorporated in here to start off with. Once those are incorporated, then you're going to want to turn the speed up, and you're going to want to let it mix for a good 8 to 10 minutes on average. Okay, but I always, as you know, I always like to incorporate all the dried powdery stuff so that it doesn't go flying everywhere. Just making sure that it's all mixed in and not at the bottom of my mixer here. Okay. I'm just going to take my hands and do it. It'll be a lot easier and faster. Okay. Okay, so that's all in there. Okay. Now I'm just going to turn it back on. And you're going to want to turn it into like I would say probably about a 5 or a 6. And then you're going to want to let it go for a good like 8 to 10 minutes when it reaches hot dog consistency. I will be back shortly to show you what I mean by that. Okay, we're back. So I've gone ahead and I have let my mixer do its thing. And this is what I mean by a hot dog consistency. It sounds weird, kind of sort of looks weird, but you want it to sort of have, this weird consistency. And what we're basically going to do is take it and put it into a little 8x8 pan that I have there. You can use any size pan that you want, but I'm going to put it in my 8x8 pan, and we are going to cook it basically like meatloaf. So you don't want it the consistency of meatloaf, because you do want to try and cut it up very nice and thin, which you're going to have to let it cool down before you do cut it up. This is a process that you can't put in the oven and have it ready properly you can't put it in the oven at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon and have it ready for 5 or 6 o'clock. This is something that you want to do early in the day or the day before. And I'm running a little behind, but I will have it ready for dinner for tonight. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it into, after I've brought it out of the oven, I'm going to let it cool in the freezer for a bit. Hi, Rudy. You going to come up? I know. Yeah, you can. I know. You're rubbing against Mommy's leg. I know. You're Mommy's little boy. Sorry, it's one of our kitties. So, just take your meat. Now I've gone ahead and I've gotten my pan put together, and I've made a sling out of a couple of pieces of parchment paper, so it'll make it easier to pull this out when it is ready. And I did spray the pan so that the sling did stay down for me for this part. Having the sling just makes it easier for you to pull the meat out when it's ready. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've gotten my donair meat put into my pan and spread out as evenly as possible. Now we're going to put it into a 350-degree oven for about 45 minutes to an hour approximately, depending on your oven. It may take less time, may take more time. Just keep an eye on it. You do want it to reach 77 degrees Celsius. And then once it reaches that, then take it out and let it cool on the stove. But I'm going to put it in the oven for now. And then we will come back in a little while when it's ready. I will see you guys shortly. Okay, we're back and the donair meat is now out of the oven. I have also let it cool down, so I'm holding onto the pan. But as you can see, it is actually quite a bit smaller than what it was when I put it in there. So I'm just now going to take it out of the pan. I'm going to put it on a plate so that a piece of paper towel lined plate so that it can soak up as much of the grease as it can. And then I'm going to let it cool down for a few more minutes, and then I'm just going to put it into the freezer for a little while just to help make it so that I can cut it into nice thin pieces. But I will be back later on to show you about how thin you want to try and get them. If you don't have a meat slicer, I don't have a meat slicer handy, so I won't be using a meat slicer. It'll just be by hand. But if you do have a meat slicer, you can get them even thinner. But so I will be back in a little while to show you how to go ahead and do that. I will see you shortly. Okay, guys, we're back and we're going to go ahead and we're going to cut the donair meat up. So I just cut it in half, and then I have a nice stable level area to work on. And then you just go ahead and you just cut it into little small, like little thin pieces. You want to cut it as thin as you can. As I said, if you have a meat slicer, you can use the meat slicer for this. But this is the reason why we chill the meat. The meat when we after it's done cooking, so that it can get. It gives you the ability to cut it nice and thin. If you didn't chill it, then just like meatloaf, you would need to cut larger slices. You can't get really, really thin slices of meatloaf when you do this without the meat being cold. All right, and then so what you do after you have gone ahead and you've sliced up your meat, you go ahead and just throw it into a frying pan and you would just heat it up. And this is something that does freeze well, so if you don't eat all of the meat, you can just freeze it up. I would suggest, depending on how big of a thing of meat you made, just go ahead and how many people you have. You can also individually wrap them, which is what we do sometimes, and then we freeze it. And so if our son, it's usually our son, so if our son gets hungry in the middle of the night and he decides he wants a donair, he can just go into the freezer, grab one of the packaged up packaged up things of meat, and then you can just throw it into a frying pan and heat it up from there. All right, and then what you would do, you would just go ahead, once it's heated up, put it onto a pita with some tomatoes and red onion. Oh, and a sweet sauce. I'll get my ingredients ready for a sweet sauce for you in just a few minutes. But you would want to put tomatoes and onion. You can also put additional vegetables on there like cucumber. We like to put feta on there. Sometimes we'll put pineapple. Yes, I know pineapple's not a vegetable, but sometimes we put like feta or pineapple on there. The pineapple adds a nice little sweetness as well as the sweet sauce. But you can put additional vegetables on there as well. So let me just go ahead and get my ingredients ready for the sweet sauce, and then I will come back and I will show you how to make the sweet sauce. I will see you shortly. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've gotten everything ready for my sweet sauce. So it's actually very simple. It's only 4 ingredients. It's 120 grams of mayo. Use any mayo that you want. 70 grams of milk. 25 grams of white vinegar. And 32 grams of sugar. Okay? And then you just go ahead and you mix it all up. And then when you're ready for your Donairs, I just go ahead and I pop it in a squirt bottle, and then you just squeeze it onto your Donairs when you're ready to eat your Donairs. Well, thank you. Have a good night and enjoy.